everyone, and welcome back. Bringing home a new cat is always so exciting.
It really is.
But there are definitely some things I wish I knew beforehand, which is why we're doing this deep dive so you can be as prepared as possible for your new feline friend. And we have an expert here to share their wisdom from over 35 years of experience with cats.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, over the years, I've definitely learned a thing or two, sometimes the hard way, about what it takes to create a happy and healthy home for a cat.
I can imagine. So let's just jump right in. We're about to bring this cat home for the first time. What's the first thing on our to-do list?
Well, I'd say the number one thing is to make sure those introductions go smoothly.
So we're talking about introductions to, other pets, family members.
All of the above, but especially other pets.
Yep.
It's tempting to just, let them figure it out.
Yeah, they'll warm up to each other eventually.
Exactly, but that can backfire, especially with cats.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're so sensitive to new environments, and any kind of negative first impression can really have some lasting consequences.
Oh, wow. Okay, so no pressure then.
Well, I remember this one time, a friend of mine, she had a dog, and she got a new cat and thought, it'll be fine.
Oh, no.
And the dog just took off after the cat on the first beating.
Oh, my gosh.
Game over.
Yeah, that's it. You can't really come back from that.
Exactly. And the thing is with cats, they remember.
Oh, they totally do.
That stress and fear can linger, and it makes it even harder to build a positive relationship down the road.
So what does a good introduction look like then? If we're not just throwing them in the deep end, what are we doing?
Slow and steady wins the race.
Okay.
We're talking gradual introductions using things like leashes for your dog.
Oh, okay.
Baby gates to control access to litter boxes.
Oh, right, because the dog's going to go for that.
Oh, yeah. You'd be surprised how many dogs think a litter box buffet is a great idea.
So it's about managing the situation carefully.
Absolutely.
Well,
setting them both up for success.
Okay, so we've managed to introduce everyone without any major incidents.
So far, so good.
Now, what about those claws? Because I know firsthand those things are sharp.
Oh, tell me about it. Like tiny little ninjas.
Right.
But regular nail trims, they're not just about saving your furniture.
Oh.
Although that is a nice perk. It's actually really important for their health.
See, I always thought that was more of a cosmetic thing.
It's easy to think that, but those claws can grow so long that they'll curl back and pierce their paw pads.
Oh.
And that's, ouch, right.
Yeah.
And that can be incredibly painful.
Wow.
It can lead to infections, all sorts of problems.
So it's a regular maintenance thing then?
Exactly. Think of it like getting a haircut every 3 to 4 weeks is ideal.
Wow. Okay. I had no idea.
And, it might seem a little daunting at first, but trust me, the earlier you start, the easier it will be.
Good to know.
For both of you.
Okay, so regular nail trims it is. I'm adding that to the list.
Definitely add that to the list.
Now, what about their diet? When I first got my cat, Rabbi, I was told just to keep him on dry kibble.
Oh, Rabbi.
I know, right?
That's a good name.
I thought so, but I was told that dry food was it. It was balanced. It helped clean his teeth.
Right.
That was the extent of it, but now I know that's not really the case.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's still advice that a lot of vets give.
Really?
But the science just doesn't fully support that anymore. And, cats are obligate carnivores.
Meaning
they need meat.
Okay.
Their bodies are designed to thrive on it.
So it's not even like a preference, it's just how they're made.
Exactly. To put it in perspective, imagine you trying to live solely on salad.
Oh, I would be so grumpy.
Yeah, you wouldn't be too happy.
Not at all.
And neither are cats when we try to, make them into herbivores.
Right.
They get most of their moisture from their food in the wild.
Right.
Think about lions in the savannah.
Okay. Yeah.
They're not out there looking for, a drinking fountain after they eat.
Right. They get it from their prey.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So we need to ditch the idea that a bowl of water is enough then.
Yeah, a bowl of water is great.
Okay.
But they need more moisture in their diet than that.
So how do we do that?
Wet food.
Okay.
Whether it's canned or raw or even gently cooked at home.
So that's like giving them a little taste of their natural diet.
Exactly. It gives them that hydration. It mimics the moisture content of their prey.
Perfect. Now, while we're on the topic of their natural instincts,
Yeah.
what about the idea that cats are low-maintenance pets?
Oh, that's a classic.
Because I used to think that.
It's a common misconception. While it's true that they're pretty good at entertaining themselves, we can't forget those instincts are still there.
So, when they go crazy at 3 in the morning, that's not them just being jerks?
Well, Maybe a little,
Okay.
but it's their inner hunter coming out to play.
Oh, okay.
And if we don't provide healthy outlets for that energy, it can definitely lead to some behavioral issues.
That makes sense. You mentioned something earlier, though, called catification, which I have to say is a word that I love.
It's a good one.
What does that actually mean?
So it's all about creating an environment that caters to all of their natural instincts. Think vertical spaces to climb, scratching posts to condition their claws, cozy hiding spots.
Right, we're creating a little feline jungle gym in our homes.
Exactly. And it makes such a difference. It lets them exercise their muscles, engage their minds. But most importantly, they feel safe and secure in their environment.
It sounds like it's about a lot more than just aesthetics, then. It's about their emotional well-being, too.
100%.
Oh.
A cat with plenty of enrichment is a happy cat.
Yeah.
And a happy cat is a lot less likely to get into mischief.
That makes sense. Speaking of mischief, this reminds me of this one time. My cat, Valeria.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she gave me a real scare.
What happened?
So I came home from work one day, and she was acting so strangely. I mean, she was pacing, she was drooling, she was like bouncing off the walls.
Oh, no.
And I instantly thought, oh my God, she's gotten into something toxic.
Oh, I bet.
You know, like cleaning supplies or something.
Oh, Lord.
And I rushed her to the emergency vet, convinced that she had been poisoned.
Oh, my gosh, how scary.
And it turned out it was something much less dramatic. She had gotten a little too excited playing with a catnip toy and had just overdone it on the catnip.
She was just riding high.
Just a little too high, yeah.
Yeah.
But that experience was a real wake-up call for me
Oh, I bet.
about how important it is to be prepared.
Absolutely. And that's why cat-proofing your home is so important. We think about dogs getting into things, but cats are sneaky.
Yeah, they get into everything.
Yeah.
So what are some essential cat-proofing things we need to do? Like, what are we looking for?
Well, first and foremost, anything that could be dangerous if ingested.
Okay.
Cleaning supplies,
Yeah.
medications, anything like that. Make sure those are behind some child-proof
Of
locks.
course, yeah.
And don't forget about those small spaces, too.
Oh, right.
Cats can squeeze into the darndest places.
They really can.
So block off any potential hazards,
Hmm.
under furniture, appliances, things like that.
Yeah, blocking off those spaces never even occurred to me, but I can totally see how important that would be.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to think like a cat, which is not always easy.
Not at all. But seriously, if I learned anything from that whole Valeria catnip incident, it's that having a trusted vet is crucial.
Oh, 100%.
Like on speed dial.
Yes. But finding the right vet that takes time, it takes research.
Totally.
And you definitely don't want to be doing that in an emergency situation.
Absolutely not. So what are some things people should look for when they're trying to find a vet for their cat?
Well, word of mouth is huge.
Yeah.
Ask other cat owners in your area for recommendations. See who they trust.
Right.
Online reviews can be helpful too. And, don't hesitate to schedule an initial consultation just to see if you and the vet are a good fit.
Because, yeah, it's like finding a doctor for yourself, right?
Exactly.
You want someone you trust.
You want to feel comfortable with their communication style, their approach to care. It all matters.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so while we're on the topic of being prepared, what about finding a good pet sitter? Because that's essential too, right?
Absolutely essential.
Especially if you're going to be away and you need someone to look after your cat.
Especially if your cat has, any special needs.
Right.
Or requires medication.
Yeah.
You need to know your cat's in good hands.
So how do we vet our pet sitters? What are some questions we should be asking?
We'll definitely ask about their experience with cats. Find out what their protocol is. If your cat, were to get sick while you're away,
Oh, that's a good one.
do they have a backup plan?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
You just want that peace of mind.
It's so important. Speaking of peace of mind, can we talk about cat insurance for a second?
Okay, yeah.
Because that's something that I know I, for one, put off thinking about for a long time.
It's not always the most fun thing to think about.
Not the most glamorous, no.
But it's one of those things that you really don't want to regret not having.
Exactly, because those vet bills can really add up, especially if there's some kind of unexpected illness or injury.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And pet insurance can provide that safety net so you can really focus on your cat's health and well-being.
Yeah, without that financial stress on top of everything else. So it's worth doing your research, finding a plan that works for you and your cat.
100%. Think of it as an investment in their long-term health and your peace of mind.
Okay, so we talked about finding a vet, we talked about pet insurance. What else falls under the Be Prepared umbrella?
The big one, a true emergency plan.
Okay, so more than just having a carrier on hand.
Way more. What happens if there's a fire, a natural disaster, or just some situation where you need to leave your home quickly?
Right.
Having an actual plan can save you a lot of stress, and it could save your cat's life.
So part of that would be like getting them used to the carrier beforehand.
Yes, that's huge. You don't want it to be a wrestling match every time.
Every single time, yeah.
Make it a positive thing for them. Put their favorite blanket in there, toys, feed them in it.
So they think of it as a good place.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk about the power of community when it comes to being a cat owner. Because, honestly, finding online groups dedicated to cats, it was life-changing for me.
Oh, I bet.
I remember when I first learned about Benny's asthma,
Yeah.
I felt so lost.
Yeah, it can feel very isolating.
But then I found this whole online community of cat owners dealing with the same thing, and it was just such a relief to connect with people who understood what I was going through.
Absolutely. It's like having this built-in support system.
Yes, exactly.
The communities can be amazing resources.
Absolutely. Okay, last but not least, and this is something I didn't expect to find so fascinating, but cat history.
I love it. It's one of my favorite things to talk about.
I have to admit, when you first brought it up, I was like, okay, how is this going to be helpful?
Yeah, it seems a little out there.
But the way you explained it, it just clicked.
Well, it's all about understanding those sometimes quirky behaviors that we love in our cats.
And get frustrated by, let's be honest.
Right. Sometimes those behaviors aren't our favorites, but they make so much more sense when we understand where they come from.
It's like seeing the world through their eyes.
Yeah.
For example, you were explaining how that instinct to scratch everything in sight, it's not them being jerks. It comes from their wildcat ancestors who needed to keep their claws sharp for hunting.
Exactly. So instead of trying to stop that behavior, which, let's be real, you can't.
Impossible.
We can just provide outlets for it.
Exactly.
So even something as simple as providing a scratching post, it becomes more than just saving your furniture.
Right.
It's like honoring those instincts.
That's such a good point. I love that. Wow, we've covered so much ground today.
We really have.
This has been such an insightful deep dive into the world of cats.
It really has.
A huge thank you to our expert for sharing their wisdom and expertise with us. It's been so valuable.
It was my pleasure. I always love talking about cats, so thank you for having me.
Of course. And to all of you listening, as you welcome a new cat into your home, remember, preparation is key. With a little planning and a lot of love, I know you can create that incredible bond with your new feline friend.
And who knows, you might even learn to appreciate those 3 a.m. zoomies.
Maybe. Until next time, happy catifying, everyone.